Niall wasn't consistent, so that's not going to lead to good results. Coop missed one of his two, but he didn't get as many chances, did he? Yeah, for Wigan, I thought Cust was decent. I thought he was very composed. He he ran a little bit. He linked up well. He controlled the game pretty well. His try assist stats were pretty good, but they were helped out a lot by Sam Wood not being able to catch, which pushed the ball into the path of Wigan for two of their tries. But also, of course, within that as well, there was that set play where he set up field. I mean, that was an exciting, classy play. I think Wigan are going to have to find other ways of using J-Field's speed as we wait for French's return. So hopefully they've got more plans like that, because you can't just kick from a scrum every time. But it was great to see, taking advantage of scrums being back. You would have thought Tony Smith would have been the coach who would had a plan for something from a scrum, but it was Matty Pete. Lee Braze probably had a big part to play, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, maybe Tony Smith did, and it was just that Rovers couldn't execute it.
Yeah, well, Wigan's defence was really strong, to be completely honest. The only lapse really was on the Mikey Lewis try, wasn't it? When I think the communication between Cust and Bibby wasn't quite there yet, but it's a new combination defensively, so we'll see if that gets fixed up. Yeah, I also thought the other new signings were decent as well. I thought Cade Ellis was solid. Patrick Mago, he looks like a different option for Wigan. He has an offloading game, which is a new dimension for us, because I think we haven't had an offloader in the middle of the field for a while. There was a few loose ones in there that will lead to the odd turnover in possession. I thought he was a bit harshly treated on one that was deemed to have gone forward when I thought it might have gone back, but it wasn't a clean offload, so fair enough on the officials picking it up as a knock on. I was pleased with him, I really was, and I was pleased with the team. I was pleased with the attitudes there and the spirit of the team. I felt like we were more enthusiastic than last year. I don't know if you thought anything like that. I thought we were quicker to loose balls. We were quicker to celebrate successes with each other. I thought Bateman, he was tackling everything. Hardacre, he responded positively to being started on the bench and put on the wing when he came on and stuff. He wasn't stropping about anything or out like that. And plus, how good was the Marshall try? I can't remember the last time. I can. It was in 2020 when we had Bevan French at fullback. But the last time Wigan did something like that, some enterprising play under pressure from field, found space. Bibby showed smarts by giving it to Marshall, the quicker man. It was great stuff.
Yeah. No, I think, I thought Wigan looked decent. I thought Field looked, very good. I guess it's going to be that thing of, can team shut him down before he's got any speed up? You've got to stop him from finding the space, haven't you, really, to be able to stop him scoring or setting up a very good attack.
Yeah, I thought Wigan scored a good try in sort of structured play as well in the second half as well. So there was a bit of both types of attack from Wigan rather than no attack from Wigan like last year. What did you make of Hull KR?
I was underwhelmed with them. I was expecting a lot more. I think there's been an awful lot of hype about them in the off season and in the build up to this season. I thought it potentially could be a win for them. On Friday, first match of the season, you're not too sure which way matches are going to go, are you? And I didn't really think that they offered a lot at all.
No, I also think Wigan prepared well for them. Wigan didn't let players who they've had difficulty controlling actually have an influence on the game. Abdul didn't have an influence on the game. Kenny Dow didn't have an influence on the game. Taki Rangi tried to have an influence on the game, but I think he tried a bit. He overplayed his hand a couple of times, threw a few balls out into touch, didn't he? So, yeah.
Interestingly, League Express have given Abdul the Rovers man of the match, which I wouldn't have done. I'm not actually entirely sure who I would have given it to, but
that's weird, isn't it? I mean, he put up a few high kicks, but Field dealt with them really well.
Yeah, I thought Coop was invisible, until he tried to play for a penalty and was told in no uncertain terms.
You're not at St Helens anymore. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. No, I mean.
It really was. Not that I can talk if anyone watched the whole match.
How did they give him a point in the 3-2-1? How did any Hull KR player get a point? That's like giving a Catalans player. Anyway, go
on. I thought he, especially against Wigan, first match, I thought he would do a lot more, Coop, but yeah, he was invisible, I thought.
Yeah, he's still got to find his place, I suppose.
I thought he looked good there. Although I had to laugh when it was when Charles was going to put the incident on report, the Vete challenge, and he called Lulai over, and Lulai's like, "What have I got to come all the way over here for?" It's like, "Because I'm putting the incident on report." And he's like, "Yeah, and why do I have to come all the way over here?" And he went, "I know it's stupid, but it's the rules."
I didn't pick up on that.
Did you not? It was after the try being scored, and so like Wigan had gone back to get set, and Child was calling both captains over. And Lulai's like looking, and like you could see he's really hacked off, and then he gets over and he's like, "Right, that incident's on report." And he's like, "Why do I have to come over?" He's probably cross about it. He's like a petulant child.
Well, he is quite. He is the oldest player in Super League. Getting him to do extra yards is a bit unfair.
Yeah.
I think I think they got that right in the game, because I think it was a hard one for them to call live, because you wouldn't necessarily see that Vetty had taken all his weight off the floor. And you'd have to watch the replays a few times to be sure. So I think in that instance, you kind of have to leave it up to the match review panel to have a proper look at things.
I agree, because initially I was like, "Oh well, it's just a tackle, isn't it? It's just he's just got injured in a tackle."
But when you saw it from particularly there was one clear shot where it showed the technique was appalling from Vete, where you saw he like lifted himself off the floor. He kind of like grabbed Thornley and then jumped off the floor and put all his massive fucking fat prop weight onto the guy. He's deserved ban for that.
Yeah.
Let's move on to Saturday lunchtime.
Yeah.
Leeds 20, Warrington 22 was how it finished. It was 12-10 to Leeds at half time, but the Wire made the extra man tell in the end. 14,135 were there. Chris Kendall was the referee.
Did you notice how red his nose was?
I noticed how cold it looked. I mean, there was one point when they cut back from a VT to the Channel 4 crew on the pitch talking, and I think Danica and Leon nearly got blown over. Yeah, not the sharpest of weather all weekend actually, but it hasn't played a big factor in any of the games so far in the Super League. That we've talked about so far. We don't know how much of a factor it was in the game at Cass, but yeah, stats were a bit all over the show on this game, possibly because of how the game played out. But Leeds, despite having fewer players for much of it, had more ball and made more meters. That was off the back of Wire giving up 12 errors to 7 by Leeds and conceding an extra penalty as well. In the end, Warrington did make more breaks and made their meters at a better average gain than Leeds did. Leeds ended up with an 88% team tackle success rate. That cost them. Dropping below 90. Any new listeners, if you're below 90%, you tend to lose. And maybe the tiredness factor played into that as the game went on, missing more tackles. Individually, who stood out?
Yes, for Warrington, Connor Wrench with 1 try, 7 tackle busts and 164 metres. Matty Ashton with 1 try, 6 tackle busts and 121 metres. And Mike Cooper with 126 metres. For the losing Leeds side, Cameron Smith made 45 tackles, of which 12 were marker tackles, 103 metres and 4 offloads. Ash Hanley with 1 try and 165 metres, Tom Briscoe with 136 metres, and Liam Sutcliffe with 134 metres.
At MikeWeb58 says, strangely liked a 12:30 Saturday kickoff. Sets the weekend up nicely. Good coverage, exciting game with both controversy and flair. Wilson and Namor were very good. Bentley, well, by my calculation, that's 4 cards in his last 4 games. Yeah, he didn't calm down over the off-season.
No. Always in Our Shadow said, credit to Chris Kendall, he got all the big calls right, although the South Standers managed to complain about the little ones he missed. Bentley, new year, new shirt, same shit house. Great periods when Wire seemed unwilling or unable to stretch the Leeds defence. Williams-Widdop combo is not really setting the world on fire. Great start to Channel 4. A bollock for Leon. The big question is, will Mrs. Myler rub it better for Richie?
Dr. Bob, I enjoyed Helen Skelton when she interviewed Powell before the game. She was like dead professional, dead good at doing what she was doing. Then right at the end of it, she wished him luck, but kind of did it in a way that was saying, I hope you don't win though, which was good. Dr. Phillips said, Leeds by far the better team, cursed with the misfortune to have an early red card. The telly audience couldn't have had a better opening show than that, however.
Yep, Dr. Hideous said Channel 4 picked a belter for their first game and did a great job with it. Leeds looked lively and organised. Warrington looked rusty and have lots of areas to work on, and as a result only dominated for a few minutes when Leeds were down to 11 men against 13 either side of half-time. Reece Martin has excellent hair.
EFC78JU said, I could not believe what I had seen in this game. Leeds down a man for a high tackle and Wire stealing it near the end with Ratchford kicking the 2-point score win. Don't know how we've done it though. After going 12-10 down at half time, we are just so lucky, even though the defence line let the Rhinos pass once in the second half. But the luck on Wire's side, Powell was right to tell the team to turn it around.
John Hamilton said, massive positives for Leeds. Leeming and Dwyer were electric and the defensive energy was great. Last tackle options improved as the match went on, with Leeds putting Wire under consistent pressure. Bentley's going to be hard work, but the ref was very good. Near side touchy, however, not so much. Better team for 75 minutes. Unfortunately, the match lasts 80.
Yeah. Carsten said, amazing game, good coverage. All in all, a good start for Channel 4. All cards were correct, and the only big mistake by the touch judge who missed the Wire player being taken to touch by Martin.
Lee Whitnell said Leeds looked stronger, fitter and sharper throughout, and even down to 11 men were the better team. Wire was steaming dog shit, but somehow managed to jag the win. Last year we'd have lost that by an embarrassing margin, so great to get the win, but a massive improvement needed. Channel 4 was great, I thought.
Leighton Rhino said, amazing to be there for the first terrestrial TV Super League game. I booed and jeered with everyone else for the Bentley red card, but reviewing on telly back home, I can see it was maybe justified. Christ alone knows how the Holmes one wasn't similarly a red though. Great occasion to be at, and her indoors enjoyed it too. Well done Leeds and Channel 4.
Mark W says, it's a shame that unwarranted ref bashing overshadowed a good game and an important one at that. The cards were pretty standard for early round strictnesses. The prior late hit...
Dwyer, doesn't he? He's typed that wrong.
Yeah, late hit and the hand in touch were the only mistakes that really stood out, but they were less impactful than Bentley taking himself out of the game or Leeming booting the ball into row Z. Better team lost, but that's how it goes sometimes.
Rich Owen said, tough game for both sets of players because of the weather conditions. Leeds played better than us for a lot of the game, even though down to 12 men thanks to their superior ruck speed and errors from our side. Bentley read the right decision. He and Widdop had previous from last year when Wire played Saints. All in all, a good finish to the game and a win's a win. A few improvements required, but keep the faith.
Rich Wilkinson said, gutted not to get the win. Wire had just enough in the end, lots to be happy about. It was an enjoyable game, lots of drama, MOT.
I need to book mine soon, actually.
Yeah, don't miss it, you get into trouble.
White Pie said, look, hold on. Have you missed it?
Can I just say, I didn't miss it.
Throwing Peter under the bus in a big spot.
The problem is, right, I'll give him this. The garage normally contacts us to say your MOT's due. And last year, everyone got an extra 3 months, didn't they? And it's not like you could go, oh, yeah, do you remember we got the MOT done just before we went on holiday? Because nobody went on holidays. So I wasn't too angry with him.
White Pie said, love Channel 4's coverage and Kyle Amor, who was a revelation on commentary. Bentley was a grub at Saints and got away with a lot the last couple of years, but this time he got a deserved red. In other news, despite the result, I don't think it's their year, as Wire huffed and puffed to get past the side who played 65 minutes with 12 men and twice were down to 11. We got a couple of late ones in from Wire fans as well. Neil Ormston said, "We got out of jail here. Credit Steph Ratchford's assists and pressure kicks though, but not sure we're at all balanced. Halves and backs look sassy when we move the ball, but we have very limited go forward and the pack looks way too low."